Uh, Now, the concept of plugin server here is, I'm a lazy guy. I don't want to read some third-party DSL or programming language or scripting language just to, make things work. So I implemented that same logic in the plugin server. You say if you have an executed binary, you can just plug it in there and that's it, it will run. So the Jira thing is actually an executable binary. Restart Tomcat is actually service restart Tomcat. You just do sudo service restart Tomcat on that server and that's it, it's done. So you can have this set of plugins. You can have this set of plugins configured, and then you can say that an X particular plugin can be executed by, let's say, a guy called Phil, or this set of plugins can be executed by the DBA team, so you can share that plugin server. If you want to go beyond that, you can actually isolate these plugin servers to different departments. So let's say a plugin wants to restart a Tomcat server, but you don't want that that sort of security breach where this restart mechanism is misused or accidentally misused by someone else. So you can have plugin servers sit in different VLANs or different subnets, and only those particular teams manage them. This is how the plugin server looks in the engine, where you can select and you can find out which plugins are active, which plugins can be worked on. And this is finally how your incident will look like. You have this host alerting on 75% disk full. Now every time it alerts, this incident will just keep on appending itself. So all the alerts will be rolled up. You don't have n number of unique incidents. No, you just have one unique incident, and everything else will be rolled up. Your event actions would be rolled up, and they will be performed as per the rules you have set. And obviously, you will have sort of a way to acknowledge this. Acknowledging it is like muting it so the actions don't occur, and the roll-up keeps happening. And closing it will close this incident, and then any new incident coming in, alert coming in, we create a new one. Sending events to this system is pretty simple. Just a 3-line JSON. You send the event ID, message, and the element. Element here in this case is the host name. It could be an FPDN. It could be a unique business identifier. That's all it takes. You don't need to learn any cryptic DSLs for this. Dashboards. So everybody loves dashboards. There's this one particular generic dashboards which can tell you there are currently 87 active incidents happening in the org. There are none acknowledged, one which was cleared in the last 24 hours. These are the incidents happening based on their IDs, the hosts, when it was last occurred, who owns it, and what category it falls under. And the count is where the roll-up metrics also show up. You can have a separate dashboard, and this is what I really like about it is, and at InMobi, we have this running on a big screen at NOC, where the NOC just sees this and says, okay, there are some events happening in data team, some in DB, and some and so on and so forth. So this gives you kind of this whole holistic view of what's happening across your org. But then someone says, they want reports. So I can give you reports. We have tons of reports. One being, what was the most noisiest system? Which team is the most noisiest of them all? What are the pain points as to what was the severity of events happening in the last 24 hours, and so on and so forth. So whatever you can think of in terms of a SQL-based query, you can get that in. So who would need it? Essentially, I would say anybody who has to wake up in the middle of the night to fix something would need it. And anybody who has to then tell it to their bosses that what happened in a coordinated fashion would need it. So you can say yes, ops, NOCs, and so on and so forth. But that is the official pitch. But I would say even your QA folks who are, so at InMobi, we have our engineering folks on call for pilot release. Nothing was talking about Canary. We have Canary there. So Canary, our operations don't get paged. Our engineers get paged because they have written that feature. They need to feel the pain. So we can have this sort of system given to them, and then the cause and effect, the whole if this then that, for any alarm or alert coming into this system can be picked up. That said, it's completely open source. Apache tool license made with Python. We are testing it out in MariaDB and PGScript. So you have a question?
So, Cyrus, one quick question. Does Setu also support application monitoring?
Okay, good point. This is not a monitoring system. Okay. This is an alert management system. So you can traditionally use any monitoring systems you have. All you have to do is instead of sending those alerts into your inbox, you can send it here and have it correlated and actioned upon as you would want. Because in a general environment, you will have a hybrid of, let's say a hybrid cloud. You can have private cloud, you can have Amazon and Rackspace all combined with your Hadoop running on bare metals, right? And then Amazon has its own set of metrics. It says, I will send you alarms like CloudWatch. Bare Metal says, I have Nagios running in. Some guy says, I like Sensu. But as an organization, I don't care what the PE team is doing. I want it all correlated in this central place. And I want to understand that what could cause my data pipeline to stop or stall for 8 hours. To do that, this was formed. So to answer your question, if you have monitoring in place, you can just pump in alerts here and that's it. You have a question?
Yeah, so I have two questions basically. So one is something related, basically, so C2 engine do not currently have any.
Yeah, go
So
ahead.
what I'm asking is, currently C2 engine do not have its own agent, right? So like CPU spike, so I have to use some different tool, and then that tool will determine whether this event has occurred, and then I have to send that data to the
Yep.
C2 engine, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So the next question I have is regarding the plugin. So can I drop in any plugin and
Any
C2
binary executable which you could think
Okay.
of. Anything. Could be written in Go, shell script, bash, shell, Perl, whatever can be executed on a system is a plugin.
Okay. Fine.
Yes, Prakash.
Correlation that happens. So say for example, I have 500 open alerts in my 4 different monitoring tools.
Right.
And how is it going to relate that this business service of mine or this application of mine is going to be done? So how does this correlate?
So that's a good point. So what happens is when you're defining an event, it's not in the screenshots, instead of screenshots. When you're defining an event, let's say you're defining Postgres going down, right? And you are a DBA guy, and I am an application operations guy, and I rely on your Postgres service. So I would say that my application not working is a dependency of Postgres going down. So if Postgres goes down, my applications won't work. My application not working could be causing my business revenues going down. So that correlation is set just once. After that, any incident coming in for that event can be, you can pick that incident and say, you know what, this DB is down, then this could possibly cause their application to stop working. That could possibly bring down the revenue. So the chain is already set here. Yes, in fact, you don't need to build a logic. The system will make the logic. All you have to say is my service depends on this and can cause that. That's it. So you just have to worry about yours. Anything which will then inherit you or you inheriting someone else, the chain then automatically just forms it. If you are familiar with graph databases, this is similar to that. Like how your Facebook and LinkedIn recommendations come through. It's pretty similar to that. You follow someone, that person follows someone, that person follows someone, and so on. The chain forms automatically.
Yeah. So, one question here.
Sorry, yes.
Yeah, help me understand critically. Is Cyto engine, from this I understand, it is an asynchronous stateless concurrent programming engine, which is based on
This
this.
stack, yes.
Is that the definition of Cyto engine, or is, because these are open source stuff, the Cyto engine is nothing but the domain functionality of the monitoring that you have gathered and put it as a bunch of rules and dashboards and things that it will map to. Because these are, to me, backbone for your asynchronous, stateless, concurrent programming
Yes.
stuff.
Yes.
So, what's the definition of Cyto engine? Is this or that?
It's the alert management system. It's like saying Java is a XYZ type of programming language, then what is your application?
No, I want to
Sorry,
understand
I'm
is,
not trying to-
Cyto engine is your rules
It's what
on
the
this
first slide
business
says. It's
about
an
the
alert
alerts.
management and aggregation system.
Okay, okay.
This is a means to an end.
This is a means to an end.
Yes.
And yours is that capturing of the alert domain.
Yeah, so that the entire thing is made using these technologies.
Okay, awesome.
So my next pitch is, this is open source, so I need people to help me out with it, right? So
Now, as soon as I saw open source, I actually loved it. That's why I asked this question.
I understand.
Does it integrate with the PMC and the fog?
Yes, so BMC thing is something which kind of is what forced me to make this. I mean, it's no surprise that my company has like $200-300 million worth of funding on it, but we still don't want to invest on those monolithic things which were developed a decade ago, because we need something which evolves really fast and is adopted really fast. Coming back to the point of integration, it can integrate to anything which can send those 3 JSON lines. That's it. Any other questions? It's not. Rules is a rules engine. You can use that if you can write around it. You have Neo4j. It's a graphic engine. You can use that if you want. You can just have a shell script do that. And this can also do that. Combine multiple. So no, that's going to be not there, because I have not received a solid use case where you would want to combine multiple events for a single action.
Because there could be multiple factors that could result in a particular, probably my CPU, and in an environment where you have multiple different components.
So there is one feature which is coming up. It's called parent-child relationship. So usually you have more than one monitors on a system. It could be CPU, memory, disk, XYZ, and so on and so forth. So in that case, you can define this parent-child relationship, saying that if this particular kind of event is coming through the system, mute everything else, because everything else would be caused by this. Yes.
How do I get to know about cascading failures? A lot of failures are cascading. So one might cause something
Yes.
else to fail. Can I, using this, can I get a report saying that, okay, this was my cascade path?
Yes. Actually, I was writing this report a couple of hours ago outside. So that will come in, like say, next week or so. The feature is in the development branch. It will come out in a couple of weeks. So you can have this entire view, like what is probably going to cause this or what is being caused by this.
And all of this we are able to configure through this tool.
Uh-huh.
Now, all the actions, are they system driven, or do you have some, because if it's manual action that's demanded, then you probably cannot configure it here, right? So my question is, has all the action that you need in terms of, whenever there is an event and that generates an incident, do you have all of those system configured actions?
So usually the trend is, if you are doing something more than twice, you automate it. Then to answer your question, yes, they have to be system configured. There are quite a few unique cases which I have seen where people are using chef scripts to execute runbooks, and they are not at all using it to do deployments, right? So you can think out of the box and see what you can use to just automate and get the thing out. Obviously, yes, you may want to do a heap dump and do a live histogram and see what's happening, right? So those things will always be there. But at the same time, sorry, there could be instances, on majority of the times, it's just recurring things. It's just recurring things. So those things you can automate and at least mitigate them and then and there.
Thanks.
Sometimes you see that going a loop, and so event action and action are being create one more event. So where do you stop? Creating so many events for you can't handle.
Right. So the cyclic thing stops when A, you have a parent-child relationship, and B is when you have this, what is causing me, and what is this whole who is causing me and what will I be causing. If you get this thing right, you can stop in there and there. Because if something is already alerting and you again receive an alert on it, you just roll up on it. You don't do actions again and again on it. Just roll up on it. Rolling up sounds very simple, but honestly, it is very, very important when you have a production outage going on, and you don't want this noise to kind of mute down any other system outage which could be happening on the side. So you could be having something which is totally disjointed from what's happening right now. At that time, you really appreciate roll-ups. Right. Yes.
I look at many times when I think of alerting, it's for me like a flag. It gets turned on when something doesn't go right. Now, this tells me when the flag is on. because you have those three
Yes, yes.
steps or the three
Right.
pieces of JSON
Right,
code
right.
that comes in and it primarily turns the flag off.
Right.
What should we, or is there something that turns the flag off?
That is a
Very, very good question. So I need people right now, to be honest. So there is this feature which I've been working on where you have a fourth field which will be a unique number or some decisive metric which you can then decide upon. Let's say one could be true, false, service down, true, false, or business metric, revenue up, down. You can take that and then you make a rule based on that. That if my metric is above $10, send a smiley face. If it's below $10, slap the business guy, so on and so forth. So you can do that. But that feature is coming soon. Any other questions?
So
Yes.
I'm just looking at what's the performance issue, assuming that let's say I have three different engines. I have a device engine, I have a and it's all coming into all the sensors on the there are like millions of sensors and I want the alerts to actually come very rapidly. And I know that you can actually control the amount of alerts coming in. You can put a threshold. But then what's the implication on performance on my engine? So do you have any records of
Yeah. So his question is, how much can this engine handle? To be very.
yes. Do you have some performance data?
So I cannot name the names of the company because I haven't got the NDA out yet, but there are like really